Cool. So I guess let's start. I know there are a lot of people who there were some 2,000 something people who applied, but I tried to invite everyone. I think Google Meet just did not let me invite 1,000 plus people. But I invited the first 1,000, I think. So let's see who joins. Thank you very much for joining this session. And the reason why I want to do this was we've started this new program called Accelerate, and uh, I wanted to showcase the benefits of that program at the back of this. So I'm not gonna hide anything here. But as the intro to that sale, I wanted to actually give information of how we build these personal brands that we are building. So without further ado, I'm gonna um, keep going. What we'll cover is why personal branding matters, and then we follow this method called 4C method. I'm gonna uncover that. How to find your niche, your first content strategy, how to build credibility, soft intro into Accelerate, and then I'm going to do a live Q&A at the end. But having said that, if you guys have any questions in between, feel free to lift your hand up. You can actually lift your hand up on Google Meet. There's a hand icon at the bottom of your screen. You can lift your hand up and ask me any questions if you have, and then I'll stop and I'll answer your question. Quick housekeeping before we start. Please mute your mic when you're not speaking. It's very important. And raise your hand if you are asking a question. And then use the chat box if something isn't clear. I'll keep an eye on it as well. Cool. And this session will be recorded, by the way, and I'll share the recording with all of you who have joined, as well as people who prompted to join. It's going to be a bit of a lengthy session, so if you want to leave in the middle of it, feel free to leave. I'll do the session as usual, and then you can watch the recording later. Um, and stay present. This is an interactive session. I want it to be an interactive session because I will be just sharing the information, knowledge. As much as questions that you ask, we can make it better. We can dig deep into details. And be respectful. We are all in here to learn and support each other. So don't want anyone, making fun of each other and stuff like that. So cool. Let's get into it. So who am I and why you should care? My name is Chalita. I started my personal brand few years ago. Actually, I created a comedy channel called Pisukanna for the Sri Lankan audience, and I know majority of you here are from Sri Lanka, so you probably know the brand a little bit. And but I've been a videographer my whole life. It's just you only started seeing Pisukanna at the back of COVID, but I've been making videos. I've worked with Block and Dino in the early stages of their comedy journey, and I work with so many brands like Access, Hemas, and these kind of brands while I was in Sri Lanka. So I've been a videographer my whole life, so I know a little bit about videography and content. And I started an agency called Editors Club because I started building a personal brand of someone called Davey Fogata. He's a owner of a business called the Udi. He started his personal brand, and he wanted to hire me to build his personal brand. And through that, I built his personal brand, and I started an agency called Editors Club. And we now manage billionaire sharks like Robert Herjavec, Daniel Lubetsky, and a few others that I can't actually openly talk about because I have NDA signed. And it's been going really well. And recently, I was awarded as one of 40 under 40 in South Australia for this business because it grew to 1 million ARR very quickly. and now we are in talks with some other bigger agencies, bigger businesses to merge and create a bigger business. And Accelerate is going to be at the back of all of that as well. So why should you care about personal branding? Personal branding is pretty much your new business card. If, Back in the day, people used to, like when they go to physical forums, they would just share their business cards and talk about themselves. But now, with social media, your new business card has become your personal brand. And 80% of the deals, this is through studies that have been done recently, 80% of the deals are now starting from your socials. People buy from people, not logos. I'll explain this a little bit towards the end. There are so many other business owners that we are working with, and they rarely post on their business like brand channels. They only post on their personal brands right now to get business, which is crazy. And a strong personal brand unlocks a lot of opportunities. You get clients. If you are after jobs, you can get jobs. Like, for example, we hire a lot of videographers who are building their personal brands, who are showcasing how they're editing videos on their platforms, and then we hire people through that. So even if you're after a job, building a really compelling personal brand would help you to get a job that you want. I know, for example, Amila here is a developer that I work with. For example, if Amila is showcasing how he's developing websites and how he's developing web fronts on his personal brand, then a lot of people would see his channel, and then he would get hired. So that's an example. And another example is like you would get speaking gigs. So that's why we are building Robert Herjavec's brand. I'll explain it in a little bit. But also you can hire global talent for your business if you have a personal brand. Like, that's what I do. I put up stories on LinkedIn. You probably have seen some of you. I put up, hey, like, I'm looking for a copywriter, I'm looking for a videographer, and I get heaps of applications, and I just send all of them to my HR team, and they do the hiring. And it has, like, I rarely advertise. I don't advertise at all, in fact, to hire people, which is really cool. So why did David Fugari start a personal brand? He wanted to build a personal brand because he wanted to monetize his knowledge. He started a business called the Udi, which is a really big fashion brand in Australia. It's a wearable blanket. It's an odd fashion statement, but then he's one of the pioneers who started the e-commerce phenomenon in Australia during COVID, and he gathered all of this knowledge about Facebook ads, Shopify, how to do email marketing, how to do customer service. All of this knowledge were monetizable. So he just decided, hey, I'm going to go and monetize all of this knowledge, and he created his personal brand. But in the beginning, we didn't have a monetization plan. We just wanted to share his knowledge with his audience. So it was well, every personal brand should be genuine. You shouldn't have um ulterior motive behind why you are creating your content, because people can sniff it out. So initially he didn't have a monetization plan anyway, but he just wanted to like share all of his knowledge with this audience, and that's what we did. But ultimately what he did was he monetized that knowledge through a program called Daily Mentor. So if you go and have a look on Google, search for Daily Mentor, you can see that how he has grown a community of other e-commerce entrepreneurs who are making more than 1 million ARR. And he's just showcasing his knowledge on that community, and all of those customers are coming through his personal brand, which is the beautiful part of it. And then Robert Herjavec, he already has made money. Like, you probably are wondering, like, why is he building a personal brand? The thing about these billionaire sharks is they have made all of this money, but sometimes they lose the purpose in life. They don't really have a clear indication of, hey, like, what am I doing here, right? So Robert is someone like that. He just wants to like do new things and put his finger in the water and see what happens. So he started building his personal brand because he genuinely wanted to just share his knowledge with people and then leave a legacy behind. But there's another inferior motive behind why he's building a personal brand, is because he wants to get speaking gigs. We have created a landing page for him where people from like Microsoft, Nvidia, all of these big corporations come and hire him for speaking gigs, and he charges 120 USD for 2 hour session. And some corporations pay like 400,000 USD, which is like almost $500,000 to for a 2 hour, 3 hour session, which is crazy. So it all comes from his social media, from his Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. All of that come from those simple channels, the simple videos that we create for him. And then Daniel Lubetsky is another billionaire shark that we started working with recently. Daniel has a movement called the Builders Movement. It's a political movement. I'm not going to go too into it. His whole thing is about creating influence. So he just wanted to gather as much as people on his social media, on his Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and then push his agenda with Builders Movement. So that's what he wanted to do. So this is the 4C method. I'm being mindful of time. Actually, it's 11:15 already. I wanted to make this a 1 hour session. So I'm gonna kind of like go as fast as possible. But if you guys have any questions, if something doesn't make sense, please raise your hand and ask any question if you have. So 4C method that we take when building personal brands is we first create the clarity. So this is what I do when somebody reaches out to us and wanting to build their personal brands. This is where we start. We have 100+ people, entrepreneurs who are making more than $100 million in a waiting list at the moment because we don't have resources to service them. But as we get resources, this is the sequence. Like we first get the clarity, like what is their niche, what do they want to create, and content, like what's the messaging, the formats, credibility, and proof, authority, community engagement, and growth. So I'll explain in a second. So clarity. What is clarity? You first have to define what specific problems are you trying to solve, and are you trying to help a specific person. So for example, just take me, right? Like you have joined this program, you are listening to me at the moment because you are trying to learn how to build a profitable personal brand. So I'm trying to solve a specific problem. I'm not telling you, hey, like you should wake up in the morning at 4:30 in the morning and you should go to sleep at 7:30. Like none of that bullshit. I'm just telling you how to build a personal brand. But like all of those other things are related to building a company personal brand, but I'm not going to touch on those. So you need to be really, really specific on the problem that you're trying to solve. And you just have to ask yourself, for example, what do people already ask me for help with? I brought up Amila earlier. He's a developer, he's a web developer. So he probably can relate, like people always ask him to, hey, like, can you make a website for me? Can you do this for me? So you just have to ask yourself, what are you trying to solve for other people? And what problem have I personally overcome? So I personally have overcome building a personal brand. I know how to build a personal brand. I know the details, the tactics, the things that have gone into building all of the other people's personal brand, because I'm living and breathing it on a daily basis. I'm looking at analytics, I'm looking at the content, I'm talking with my team. So I know the details behind what it takes to build a really compelling personal brand. So I have personally overcome that, so I can share that knowledge with you. And what would I create content about even if it didn't go viral? Like some of the content that I would like, if I was to create content about personal branding on my channels, which is I'm just keeping it Piece to Khanna because it's my comedy channel that I created. I don't have time to build another brand. But if I post something about personal branding, like something technical, it wouldn't really go viral. But that is what I would create, because that's the specific knowledge that I have. I also am a comedy creator, so I can also create comedy. But then that's the kind of content that I want to put out in order to solve a problem for someone else. So you just got to ask yourself, if you are if you're I don't know, if you're a chemist who makes medicine, for example, it's not gonna technically go viral. But well, I can think of many ways that you can take something like that viral, so that's not a good example. um, but if something that doesn't really resonate with a lot of people, even if it doesn't go viral, you just gotta ask yourself, hey, like if I can show people how to solve a problem, you can eventually monetize that. That's where I'm headed. So it will all make sense in a second. So real examples, these are actually from the clients that we are managing. Helping shy founders become confident on camera. We manage a client who does that. Helping moms turn side hustles into income. We have a Asian entrepreneur who's helping other Asian moms turn their side hustle into good income. Helping agency on a scale past 50,000 a month. We also have a client like that. Helping amputees find strength after trauma. We have a client called Ali Tridge. She's a Paralympian, and she has a foundation called Stronger Than You Think, and that's what she does through that channel. Um, so I wanted to do a little exercise with you right now, so that I can also recognize who you guys are on this call. If you can take a moment, we'll do this exercise for the next 2 minutes. I would say, if you can type in on the chat, I help specific audience achieve this by doing this. So if you can just type out who you are in that sentence, that would help me create an interactive session. Yeah, if you can do that. So for example, I can type first so that you know what I'm trying to get at. I help entrepreneurs um, uh, create a compelling personal brand by going viral on social media. So that's an example. I can just pin it. So take a minute, and then if you can type in, I just need a few so that I know who you are. Anybody have questions? I want to build a YouTube channel based on community-driven software development projects. Okay. So let's break that down, right? So what I need, Lakshit, from you is you help. Okay, you want to build a YouTube channel based on community-driven software development project. So I think you help. Um, uh, who would you help? Like, I think I think that statement is incorrect. So I'll let you like do that again. I help businesses go digital by delivering complete end-to-end digital solutions. Amazing. That sounds great. I help businesses go digital. If you can actually niche down a little bit more, even Sangeet, that would be great. Like I help um, e-commerce businesses go digital. Oh well, e-commerces are all already digital. I help brick and mortar businesses go digital by delivering complete end-to-end digital solutions. Would be a good one. Um, but that sounds really cool, and I'm pretty keen to hear what you're trying to do there. I help NGOs, think tanks, and policymakers communicate their work with clarity and simplicity by refining their overall brand communications. That's amazing. Um, that's really cool. I think that's really niche. Refining the overall brand communication. Have you monetized that already in Samal, or are you just starting? Feel free to talk if you want.
Just starting, I mean, just experimenting with engaging with my target audience right now, speaking to them, identifying where the pain points are.
Yeah.
Like you said, what's their initial problems that we can solve for them, and
Yeah.
then trying to formulate something that is kind of like a framework for them to help them communicate their work basically. So that's just in summary.
Amazing. That sounds pretty cool. And all right. So I guess yeah, Numika De Silva. I want to get here, but I want to help K-pop fans get merch in Sri Lanka at affordable prices by creating and sourcing products in Sri Lanka. Okay. Want to help K-pop fans get merch in Sri Lanka. Okay. At affordable prices by creating and sourcing products in Sri Lanka. Um, yeah, I guess like in your case, I want to help K-pop fans, okay, get merchandise by creating and sourcing products in Sri Lanka. Interesting. Okay, that's not correct, but it's a little bit.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
started it. So more or less, we've just done a little bit of production. We've already done some sales, but maybe work with some producers from Sri Lanka so that we can create some of those stuff from Sri Lanka so that we can actually maybe go into international markets in the future, maybe.
Yeah, amazing. I think that's a really cool idea. And yeah, I think that's correct. I got confused there for a second, but I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Lakshit, did you wanna say something?
Yeah, I think you didn't get me at that point when I typed that message. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, what I want to tell is like I want to gather small people, small or something like that in YouTube, uh, and get their idea about that. What's their pain point in their life, and like if we can solve it via software or like a web app. So I want to build that, uh, like with getting their uh, with getting their like what they really want to do with that app, uh, and like that. That's
Okay.
what I mean by community driven development.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm not very familiar with the community driven developments, but we can chat at a different time. But I'm pretty sure that you understand where you're coming from. So it's cool. Amazing. All right. The winter, I help SMEs to become good in doing sales and marketers in to drive their business forward, digital and AI, and planning to start my content platforms around this. Doing sales and marketing their business forward, digital and AI. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can think of a lot of creators who do that actually, and creators that you can get inspired from. Like I feel like Alex Hamos is one of them. Gary Vee is one of them. If that's the vibe that you're looking for. Um, I'm an operations manager by profession. I want to support people to solve business operations problem, but I don't know what I should do. My areas are mentoring, coaching, and supporting other businesses. Yeah, cool. So, Gayan, I help um businesses. Well, you can niche down by saying SMEs or large corporations or whatever, achieve operational excellence by mentoring, coaching, and supporting their business operations or something like that. But yeah, so I feel like we understand where we need to go now. So that's the first statement that we make all our clients write down on the call when we are pitching them. Um, this just gives a lot of clarity on what are you trying to do. So this just becomes your north star as you move forward. So let's move on. So okay, so first uh, second section is content. Cool. So what makes you stand out? You what do you believe that most people don't? Um, this people when they follow personal brands, they usually follow for the person, right? Like it's a it's a brand. It becomes a brand. It's your voice. So you sometimes have to, you can't relate to everyone. It's something that a lot of people try to do. It's a mistake a lot of people try to make. They just try to be politically correct in all terms, which is incorrect. Like, you have to have your own opinion, you have to have your own belief system in order to stand out. That's how you stand out, because it's healthy to people, for people to come to your comment section and give their opposing views, and then you can acknowledge the opposing views. You can disagree, you can agree, you can change your view on it, but that's the healthy way of growing a community behind you. But most importantly, you have to be you. You have to be you to stand up. And what truth do you live by? It's the same thing. You have to make your, like, for example, Numika's personal brand, she would say, I believe that K-pop is going to be the biggest phenomenon in Sri Lanka in the next 5 years. I'm just giving an example, right? And people necessarily will not believe in that, but then that's the truth that she lives by, and that would make her stand up. And you also have to understand what will you never post about. Like, so Numika will never post about K-pop being the worst thing that ever happened to humankind. I'm just giving an example, right? So those are the kind of things that you have to eliminate from your content system. Hey, like, I'm never gonna post anything that's gonna disrupt the viewpoint of my people. But you can change your opinion, but you don't necessarily have to post. Like, if you try to post something like that, it just blurs your blurs the purpose behind your brand, is what I'm trying to get at. So we have few other people who have reached out. I'm an operations manager by profession. I think we so Ravindi, I help women 18 to 35 to find their personal style through my social media platforms. I share practical styling tips, inspiration, and personalized sessions. Amazing. I think that's really cool. I can think of a few other creators who do that actually. Nirmala, or Nirmala, I'm not sure. I'm currently working on building a couple of SaaS applications focusing on automotive and transportation domain. Currently at the end of building the MVP. And the next step is exploring the ground. I believe I will need to redefine, build my personal brand, showcase my product, and build. Yeah, it's a little bit long. So I'm not sure if you saw the slide. I'll share this recording anyway, but what you need to do is to really define in one single sentence what you're trying to do. Rowena specialized in video production, 3D production, helping brands create impactful content. Amazing. I think that's very clear. Cool. So let's move on. So top performing content styles for beginners. These are just like what we have seen that works really well in terms of formats. That's fine. I'll share the recording with you, Nirmala. I used to struggle with X. Here's what helped. If you're doing X, you're making a mistake. Most people don't talk about this, but here's what I do if I was starting over. So these are the kind of formats that you can start with if you were to go ahead with defining exactly that sentence, like on your personal brand. So for example, I think Insamam had a very interesting I help NGOs, think tanks, and policymakers communicate their work with clarity and simplicity by refining their overall brand communication. So in that case, I used to struggle with brand communications in my previous workplace, but here's what helped. And then you're not directly talking to NGOs or think tanks or policymakers, but you are sharing your knowledge. And then you can create content in the future, focus on NGOs, focus on think tanks, focus on policymakers. But I think your whole your aura is created through brand communication. So like I used to struggle with talking to people, but here's how I create a clarity in talking to someone. Here's what I have found with my business, how to talk to the ideal customer base. So those kind of things is what I would create when coming up with your content formats. It's a little bit like with these content styles, there's so many formats that we can follow through, but for beginners, these 4 is what we have seen that works the best. So if you were to start off, this is what I would start off with. Cool. Danindu, I want to start an agency and help business and brands grow through social media. Cool. Like, what agency are you trying to create? And growing has a lot of other like definitions, so you have to really define what it is. Cool. So you have to start with low lift, high impact formats like this. You don't need dance or do anything to go viral. Storytelling and value can build trust. Cool. So use these 3 buckets to plan your first 15 posts. I would say rotate them weekly. Don't overthink it. Document. Don't just teach. So storytelling, who you are and what you have overcome. So from that sentence that we created, education, what you know, and then prove what you have done and help others too. I'm going to touch on this later, but showcasing your screenshots, like for example in Insamam's personal brand, if he showed in his previous company or some client that he has worked with, he brought these results for that client for his company, and then if there's like a clear screenshot of, hey, like with these brand communications we actually increased our sales by 25%, and then he has the graph of that happening with the brand communications that he has done, that itself is the goal. That is your North Star in some, right? Like that you have to like keep on showing that to establish like you are an expert in this domain. And then with Numikas, yeah, sorry, did you want to say something and so on?
Yeah, to be honest, I love those examples, even with the previous one that you mentioned. It just, again, like you said, it just simplifies everything. Really gets to the point with the audience, I guess.
Exactly. And I'll tell you a few other tactics as well that you can pretty easily implement. But in Numika's example, who like story, like who are you, Numika, right? Why are you obsessed with K-pop? Like, why do you think K-pop merch should come to Sri Lanka, and why should you think that should be a cultural phenomenon in Sri Lanka? And then education, like why is K-pop so cool, and educating the people, and then proof, like you have created really cool merchandise in the past. This is the quality that you are trying to strive for, and by wearing K-pop clothes, this is how you will stand out in the crowd, or like this is how stylish you would look. Like those kind of proof is what you need to showcase in your brand. And then so many other examples that I can give, like for the Windrose example, I help SMEs to become good in sales and marketing to drive their business forward, digital and AI. Storytelling, like how have you done that to other SMEs to take them to digital and AI platforms, and education, like what AIs can they use, and then prove like how have they increased their sales or their brand presence by doing that. So yeah. All right, so this is where I wanted to get at. So you can use those for formats that I showed you earlier, but a really easy way to create really compelling formats is fucking copy, right? I mean, don't copy everything. You have to copy in a tasteful way. But what I mean by that is when I was building Davy's personal brand, this was the first day, right? Like when I came to Adelaide, I went to the office, and then he wanted me to sit in front of him, and he was like, hey, go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to YouTube, and find the creators that you think that I can become. So I was looking at there was this creator called Greta Van Riel. You probably don't know. She's famous in Australia. She started an e-commerce brand. So she was already making content with a channel called Founder. You probably have seen Founder. And I was looking at Alex Honnold. I was looking at Iman Gadzhi. Iman Gadzhi wasn't even famous back then. I was looking at Jordan Welsh, the guy that I've taken a screenshot of. And what we did was we just listed down all of their best performing content from like in a descending order, from the most viewed to the least viewed. And then we just looked at, okay, cool, like we can make this video, we can make this video, we can make this video. And this was one of the videos that was in the last line item. But this is the video that went viral for Davey. So you can see like it's thumbnail to storytelling to everything. It's just, we copied everything, but it's Davey's story. We just didn't have to reinvent the wheel here. We just had to take Jordan's formatting, his packaging of the video, and then we just applied it to Davey. So this is exactly what I mean by tasteful copying. So how I went from this to in, it's very important that you copy the elements very closely. So minus 30,000 to 6 million is how he went, his contrast. And with Davis, how I went from $500 to $500 million. Our original title was $500 to 500 million, but 500 million did not work, and I changed it to $500 million, and then it fucking went flying. So that billion keyword just took everything off. And then the thumbnail, and then if you actually watch this video on YouTube, you can see how the storytelling is very similar. So in your case, Insamam, in your case, Numika, Lakshit, all of these people who have joined, you can go like that, use that sentence, and then go and search on TikTok, Instagram, who are the other creators creating similar content to you, list down their best performing content, and then look at their formats, look at their packaging, and then try to copy that packaging to the dot. The setting, the lighting, the hook, the way that they speak, pacing of their, the way that they talk, and then, but fit it to your scenario, what you are trying to teach. You can't just create the same piece of content. That's illegal. I mean, it's not illegal, but you get penalized on the platform. You just have to fit it to your scenario, your circumstances. Cool. And then this is another thing that a lot of people make a mistake of. They create one piece of content that they post on every platform, which is not a good thing to do, because what you will see is there might be someone on LinkedIn who's seeing your content, but it doesn't really fit the LinkedIn format. They see you posting something, they don't resonate with it. Even if they see you on Instagram or TikTok, they're not going to resonate with it because they already saw you on LinkedIn. A lot of people are on every different platform at this time. So you just have to be really careful of repurposing the same piece of content everywhere. Pick a platform and dominate that platform. In your case, Insamam, in your case, who's that? Doindra, the best platform for you would be LinkedIn. And the best platform for Numika would be on Instagram and TikTok. Best platform for Ravindi would be on Instagram and TikTok. Best platform for Nirmala would be on LinkedIn. For Rovin, it would be TikTok and Instagram. So you just have to pick your platform and then dominate that. And then afterwards, there are so many other things that you have to do in order to like repurpose the content. I'm not gonna talk about those in this session. So we're going to do like future sessions as well if you remain on the community. But yeah, repurposing is a whole different ball game. So pick a platform. And credibility. It's already 45 minutes. Jesus. All right. Credibility without big numbers is it's very hard to achieve, because if you have 10 followers, why would anybody listen to you, is what you would ask yourself, right? So that's why you have to share your screenshots, testimonials, document behind the scenes, like showcase what you are doing at the moment, share lessons from real life experience, and collaborate with others, like collaborate with other creators who are like you. And that's the best way to like grow your audience as well as showcase your credibility. Cool. You're already credible if you are 2 steps ahead. What does this mean? That you don't need to be a guru. If you have done something that other people have not done yet, you can go and teach that, and then you can create your personal brand. Like, I'm not the best content creator in the world, like, but I'm teaching you how to create content. Like, if Mr. Beast came here, I would be listening to him, right? So it's just, you don't have everybody's in different stages of their journey. So as long as you have done something that another person has not done, it's good enough. Sometimes what we have is the imposter syndrome. We think, oh, like, people would already know this, but that's not true. Like, there's someone who always has to listen to you. They always will find value in what you have to say. So don't trust perfection. They trust relatability. So just relate to other people. That's all. Cool. So community, you have to reply to every DM. Very important. Comment on other accounts in your niche. Very important. And then when you're commenting, you shouldn't comment, oh, beautiful, oh, that's amazing, and then clap. Not those kind of stuff. You have to comment with your opinion, your viewpoint, disagree, agree. And while you're agreeing, just try to comment with substance. That way those creators will engage with you, and then that way their audience will see you and come follow you as well. This is something very common that we do with Robert and Daniel Levetsky. We get them to collaborate with other creators, like Daniel Mack, School of Hard Knocks, and then we go and comment on their content and say, hey, thanks for having me. Finally, someone who can match my energy. And then people see, okay, cool, like Robert is on social media, and they come and follow you. We actually bumped up by 100,000 followers by that one video on Robert's channel. And ask your audience questions. You can ask questions on Instagram story. You can ask questions on TikTok as well. You can ask questions on YouTube community, LinkedIn. It's a great platform to ask questions from X. You should ask questions and get your audience to engage with you, and use call to actions often. You have to tell them, hey, like, there's something that I'm selling. There's something that I'm offering at the back of my content. Go and find that. Go and watch that. It's not cringe. You just have to what's the point of doing all of this if you are not showing them what you have to offer, right? It's just like, it's just the front of your shop. You're not taking them inside, so you have to take them inside. Okay, so this is the part that I really want to spend time on, but I'm gonna try to keep it simple. So this is the YouTube funnel. If you have seen YouTube channels before at the back end, this is what it looks like. This is just a random picture. This is not one of our channels, but this is the YouTube funnel. So meaning people, so imagine this as a, what do you call it? Like a funnel, right? So all of these impressions are being, put in here, and then this many people from these impressions are clicking through, and then we get this many views from these impressions by the people who click through, and then people watch the content for a certain time period. Like, this is the average view duration in this screenshot, and then that's how the watch time is created. And through watch time, the algorithm index your video in a whole list of videos that are being posted on the channel, and then whichever the videos that are on the top, they get raised to more audiences, so that you get more impressions at time. So that's how it usually happens. This is the algorithm. This is the basic algorithm of every platform. So impressions is if your video pops up on a home page, on a feed, that's an impression. You don't necessarily have to click the video. If you're while you're scrolling, the video pops up, that's an impression. And then if you click through, that's a click-through rate, right? And then if you're watching for more than 3 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, that's a view. and then average regression, how long are you watching for, and then the watch time is the calculation from in terms of hours, how many people watch, and then this multiplied by this is the watch hours. So when you're reading analytics, you're just pretty much optimizing for this ecosystem. Let me explain that. So before we go to the metrics, if you don't measure, you can't improve. If you while you're measuring is to double down on what's working. So if a content is working, if they are getting a lot of click-throughs, if people are watching through to the end, we have to double down on it. And then it stops you from guessing. Like guesswork is like, this is what a lot of people do. They're just guessing, oh, like I'm just going to post this tomorrow and see how it goes. Like that's not a good way to, that's not a strategy, right? And it also gives you momentum through clarity. Like a lot of clarity just gives you, like it pushes you forward. It's nice to have clarity. I don't know, I'm super OCD, so I need to have clarity on like how everything performs. So that's how I push things forward. And data builds confidence, like as I said. Okay, so let's go to the details. You don't have to track anything. You just have to track reach, engagement, and conversion. So in the example that I showed earlier, so reach is impressions, the same as impressions. Engagement is click-through, or like people, like click-through is pretty much an engagement in that first example. Conversion is how, like the watch time in that first example. But like this is how Instagram works, like reach, engagement, and conversion. Yeah, so are people seeing your content? This is what you're reading. And are they engaging, reacting, and commenting? And conversion, are they commenting with a certain word that you want? Then you can set up ManyChat and these kind of platforms. Or are they clicking through to your link and then purchasing whatever that you wanted? That's the ultimate motive for you, right? So reach, impressions, views, follower growth. So these are the metrics for reach. Engagement, likes, comments, shares, saves, DMs. These are engagement metrics. Conversion, link clicks, leads captured, sales and bookings, other stuff, conversion metrics that you need to read. You can read this on Google Analytics and Go High Level. There are so many other platforms that you can look at conversions on. I'm going to talk about funnel building next Wednesday, by the way, inside the community. So if you want to remain in the community, pay for it. But in the funnel building, I'll talk about conversion. If you have any questions, let me know. Simple weekly check-in. What I do is with my entire team, we have a big team at the moment. We have 60 plus people. We all jump on a call, jump on like pocket calls on Monday, and then we check in with every single client that we work on, and we look at their top 3 performing posts. So reach and engagement we are looking at, and their worst performing posts, and why are they worse? Like some you wouldn't believe, like some of the content, like what we post on Roberts, like would get like millions of views, and then got like 2,000 views, and then clearly with the worst performing content, then we look at, hey, like what happened, like why did that happen? And then total followers and gain loss, most clicked also. So how do you pivot? Great reach but no comments, content is too generic. That's what that means. High views, low followers, poor call to action. High engagement, low conversions, wrong audience. Stagnant growth for 3+ weeks, revisit niche or content type. So this is how you would pivot. Again, I'm not going to go much into detail as I'm running out of time, but yeah, if you have any questions, please interrupt me and ask. You can put your hand up, by the way, or like you can send the questions on the chat. All of these note takers are spamming. Okay, so if you're stuck, this is how you would diagnose. Is my niche clear enough? Am I saying anything different from the crowd? Am I making it easy for people to take the next step? Am I being consistent enough to get real data? So ask yourselves these questions on that weekly meeting with yourself or with your team. And you don't need any fancy tech. Instagram Insights, Meta Business Suite has all the analytics. LinkedIn Analytics has very limited analytics though, but still good. Metrical is a great platform. We use Metrical. Notion, Google Sheets, custom trackers. You can pull data from Social Blade, those kind of platforms if you want, and then create a automation from Zapier, like Social Blade, Zapier to Google Sheets if you want. And School, if you have conversion platforms, like my conversion platform is School, so I read analytics on School. And performance has to be directional, not emotional. Like if you put up a post crying about why K-pop is the best thing that will happen to Sri Lanka in the next few months, but you get 1,000 views, you shouldn't be emotional about that. You have to analyze why that piece of content did not work, and then it might be because the hook is not good enough, because you didn't start crying at the beginning, you only started crying in the middle of the content. I'm just giving examples, by the way, you don't cry, but that's how you would analyze, like, okay, cool, like the hook wasn't good enough. Don't overreact to one bad post is what I'm trying to say. You have to look at patterns. You can see the patterns when you post for more than 30-60 days. You can see the patterns. That's what there's a lot of people, a lot of clients who join us, we don't sign them up for a month, we sign them up for 6 months. That's our minimum contract period. We sign them up for 6 months because then we can see the patterns and we can see the peaks, and then we can see, okay, these are the content that people have engaged with the most, so that we can repeat those peaks. So you have to see the you have to visually see the data. If not, like, you can't make any tweaks. You have to test, track, and tweak. If something works, obviously do more of it. So here's an example. I just took this in the morning today. This is Robert's Meta Suite. So we've achieved 11 million views in the past 28 days and 3.4 reach, content interactions, link clicks. So I can see, okay, cool, like these peaks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and have a look of these peaks on a weekly basis and say, okay, cool, like, well, this is the month, 28 days, but on a weekly basis, if we see peaks, we just go and look, okay, cool, what contributed to that peak in terms of views. Okay, cool, we are getting good views. Are we getting good reach? All right, cool. Content interactions, we have gotten a peak, but less interactions. What happened? Wrong audience, that means. Link clicks, okay, cool, like people are clicking through to whatever the links that we are sending them. Cool. And then in terms of the content, we just pretty much ascend them by reach. So this piece of content got 4.6 million views within the past 28 days. So we would do more of that. So we're doubling down on whatever that works. And then we put up this post, which got 2.4 million reach. So we're going to double down on that. So that's how we make decisions. Okay, cool. Like on a weekly basis, we look at our best performing content and then we double down. Worst performing content, we just drop them. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. So recapping, clarity, niche plus POV is what you need. That sentence, very important that you create that. Content, 3-pillar rotation. We talk about the 3 pillars. I'm going to go back to that again so that it makes sense. Storytelling, education, and proof. These are the 3 pillars that I recommend that you go on if you want to build a profitable personal brand. But there are so many other types of personal brands that you can build. But like this specific session is on creating profitable personal brands, and that's why you need to create around these pillars. And then credibility, you need proof, you need screenshots, you need testimonials from people. You just need to show your behind the scenes as well. Honesty is very important. And community, you need to talk to your people. And here's a tangible thing that you might need. So if you can see my screen. So this is the content engine that we use with our clients when we're working with them. You can actually get this content engine inside our school. Let me just show you that. So when you go to Classroom and go to your first 30 days to 100,000 views, feel free to watch this entire series. By the way, this actually goes into detail. Like you can see 46 minutes, 50 minutes. These are very detailed modules, by the way. Inside why personal branding matters, I have this resource, Notion Content Production Engine. You can go and click on this and you can duplicate this onto your Notion. This is a very important resource that you can use to manage your content. Don't worry about these things. We can talk about this later, but pretty much the content engine is going to help you manage your content with a wider team. So go from ideas, writing review, filming, ready to edit, editing for review, ready to be posted, and then whatever that you don't like, you can press them to do not progress. I'll show you Robert's engine. So for example, so go from ideas to need writing, ready to film, whatever. So for example, I'll just I'll pull this up, and each of these cards represent one piece of content, and then you can open each, and then all of these fields define what the card is. So this the status is to be published, and then formatting is a short video, deadline, this is for our internal resources, platform, which platform are we going to post this on, who's this sitting with, the editor, filming due date, edit due date, publishing date. This publishing date creates a new view for us called the publishing calendar. So this is a publishing calendar. So all that the person who's posting has to do is to come to this specific time and then click on this card. And then we also have a field called final edit link. On this final edit link, I have the final piece, and then you click on that. We usually upload all video content to Frame.io. This is Frame.io. You can leave like specific comments and stuff like that on this platform, and then you can download the piece directly, and then you can post the piece, and you can change the status to published here. So it's very easy to manage all of your content by using this engine. So you can go find it in our scope. So this is a success story of one of our clients. She actually started at 13 followers. She's been growing her channel for over a year, but she only had 13 followers. And then she joined the community. She was the first member. She was our test member because we're just starting this community, by the way. Yeah, she is now at 1,400 followers, and she recently got a 1.2 million view video as well. Yeah, this is her channel. I swear to God, I took this screenshot in the morning, 14:51, and she already got like some followers for that short period of time. But you can see that it's a hit and miss. Like these are formats that we are trying at the moment, and some formats work really well. So this is the 1.2 million video, and some formats just don't work at all. So you just have to keep on testing. That's the idea. And then we keep track of our strategy here. We come up with, okay, cool, like let's do this week, and then we just action on that strategy, and that's how we keep track of what we need to do. Okay, so we're final stage of this session. Everything that I showed you, you can go and do this on your own, but we have this community. It's a 12-month program. It's an investment. Yeah, I know it's money spent on learning, and that's the best way to invest in yourself. But we will show you how to build a profitable personal brand, and it's just going to create the ultimate leverage for you. You will get custom action plans, team placements, live calls, course libraries, feedback, and yeah, you can start with the 7-day free trial. Some of you are already inside. So For example, the next session is going to be on how to build funnels, which is going to happen on Wednesday. But we're going to, we just started, like I said, we're going to like fill all of these calendars up. Like we're going to have like a copywriting one-on-one session and stuff like that as we move along. Cool. So I want to go to the live Q&A. We can do this for like 10-15 minutes if you guys want, but yeah. Do you have any questions? Feel free to put your hand up and ask questions, or you can just unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can put the question in the chat. Feel like no questions. Cool. That's a lot. Please show the slide that was shown before Q&A. Sure. This or the one before this. Cool. No questions. Please show the. Okay. Cool. Was that a question? I didn't really understand that.
Hello.
Hi, Inswan. Yes.
Hey, Charlie. I think this I need to get to bit of a bit of parenting right now because I have a kid. So I just wanted to let you know that I think this session was super insightful, man. Like I think personal brand is where everything is heading, and I see the work you do as well. I mean, Robert Herjavec alone was a big, massive win. So kudos to you. I think this session is super insightful, and hopefully you continue to push boundaries, man. Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Inswan, and I'm really glad that you think so. And my what I wanted to do was to like genuinely provide value, and of course, like to convert you guys into paying members on Accelerate. That's the secondary purpose, but I just want to provide value. Just like I said at the beginning of the session, providing genuine value, providing genuine, showcasing my the knowledge that I've gained is the best way to create a compelling personal brand. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah,
thank you so much, man. Thanks.
No worries. So Dilanka has a question. Charlie, personally, I don't use any social media platforms except LinkedIn. This is distracting and time because mandatory use social media build. Well, LinkedIn is social media, so you can build build your personal brand on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, we received a report from Metrico because we are a premium customer. They found that LinkedIn to be the one that is growing the fastest at the moment from all social media channels, not even TikTok. So LinkedIn is passing TikTok at the moment. Cool, Lakshit. Yeah, ask a question.
Yeah, I want to know about that LinkedIn newsletters. Yeah, is that really engaging or something like that? Or
yeah, look, like LinkedIn gives you different channels to post on. Newsletters is a bit of a old technique. Like I used to do newsletters back in the day, and I used to get like heaps of engagement. Like if you want to write something really big, if you want to give a lot of details, and it's like a blog sort of, so you can pick your platform. It's like on you can pick your vehicle is what I'm trying to say. Like on Instagram, you can do a complete story strategy. You don't have to post anything on your feed, but you can only do stories. I know a client who do just stories, and they're selling like so much of products on their platform, but nothing on the feed. Well, they have pictures on the feed, but like stories is their strategy. And then on YouTube, you can just do shorts. You don't have to post landscape videos. So just like that, newsletters is just another vehicle that you can use. But I don't have any insights on whether newsletters are better than feed or anything like that. But it's just what you want to use.
I have one question. So it's just that the one that I told about the K-pop thing is just my side hustle, basically. I am a professional in HR. I'm a lecturer, coach, all that. So I'm
Right.
just started this as a new thing.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, if I'm building my personal brand, how would I incorporate this and also have my professional thing? Because I haven't put anything on LinkedIn with regards to this, Insta thing that I'm doing. So I don't know how to balance it out, because I'm a professional with so much of experience and people see me in a different light in LinkedIn, and then Insta I have this whole thing going on separately.
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's what you want to put forward, to be honest. So for example, if you're looking to get more opportunity in HR, if you're looking to get hired by multinationals, or if you're looking to start your own HR consultancy company, for example, that's the type of content that you would need to make on LinkedIn. Put up post about HR, how to manage people, how to conflict resolution in workplace. Those are the kind of would put on LinkedIn, but not on Instagram or TikTok. Like those don't really, the platforms are not matching to what you're trying to achieve. But on LinkedIn and TikTok, you can do your K-pop thing, which is more suitable for those platforms. You can do both simultaneously, but if I was you, I would pick one and just do that. Like if you're happy with where you're working at the moment, if you're not looking to start your HR consultancy or anything like that, but you want to start your K-pop business, which you are hoping to do full time in the future, then I would put all the efforts into building that content and building the content around that.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, focus is very, very important in something like this. What a lot of people do is they try to like pick, hey, like I'm going to do like 3-4 things and see what works. And that never usually works.
Yeah. So I think that's quite clear. So I was also thinking the same things around, but I still have my professional career going, and I don't think I see myself not doing that as well. So I that's what I was thinking. I'll do career in LinkedIn and whatever, and then worked on Insta for this other brand which I'm working on.
Yeah, you can manage those both. So I kind of do that as well. Like on Instagram and TikTok, I try to keep it funny and try to keep it lighthearted. Whereas on LinkedIn, I post all this heavy stuff, like showcase my professional side of things. And I actually get messages on LinkedIn from people, hey, aren't you doing Pisukana anymore? Is Pisukana so like audiences merge as well. But you definitely want to segregate. If you have two personalities, you can segregate in platforms, as well as if you are after two things, you can segregate platform wise as well.
Great, thank you very much.
No worries. Okay, cool. So are there any other questions? You'd like a few seconds. But I think this would be it. I didn't think that it would take, like, the time would go this fast. And I hope that is very valuable for you. And whoever joined the community, thank you very much for joining. And if you don't want to remain on the community, you can leave. You can cancel the subscription for free of charge, no strings attached. But if you want to stay, go to your classroom and fill up the form to get your custom plan. Our team will jump on and create your custom plan, and we will check back with you to see whether you are staying with it. And then we'll make sure that you get the results, just like our test subject. And then if it doesn't work, like if you don't get 100,000 views within 30 days, we actually give your money back as well. So see where you want to go with that. But I think like $4.99 USD per month is nothing compared to the leverage that you're going to build with your personal brand. People are making millions of dollars with their personal brand. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, and I'll do another session in the future. And yeah, see you guys later.
Thanks a lot for the session, man.
Thank you, and bye.